Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. Today we're going to do a top 10 video once again, and the topic is going to be Legendaries by Winrate. Now, there's a few very interesting things to consider here. First off, this is mostly like a fun video. If you want like a crafting guide, well, I literally have that video already. Generally, Legendaries are not like, the most powerful, the most core cards to deck, but sometimes they are. And it's interesting to see in which capacity they are. And there are many ways in which you can understand win rate. There's many statistics out there. This list is based on the statistics by Hearthstone Replay, based on the deck win rate where these legendaries are included. So of course, these are going to be legendaries that are in the highest win rate decks. Now, there are different parameters to win rates, and I'll explain probably the most common one that is the biggest misconception as to its accuracy. So the win rate on played cards. So if you play a legendary card, what's the chance that you win that game? That's like the most inappropriate way to gauge legendaries by win rate, but it's one that people kind of think that we're talking about. So for example, this is not part of the list, but Antonidas, Archmage Antonidas, is the single highest win rate legendary in the game when played. Because what happens is, when you play it, you typically are infinite fireball comboing your opponent to 0 health. And you don't play it at any other time. When you don't play it, you lose those games. But decks that go for that combo suck. Like Antonidas' deck win rate is 41.9%. It's terrible. The second on the list is like Mecha'thun. Praise Mecha'thun. I know. Praise. Yes, of course. Mecha'thun's played win rate is insanely high, but most Mecha'thun decks are total garbage. Now, there is an exception for Mecha'thun Priest, but even then, that's like barely a tier 2 deck in most ranked brackets. So that's why this list will be win rate by deck win rate in which these legendaries are included. So let's hit it. List. We'll go from the bottom. 10th is the Glass Knight. How about that? There's going to be a lot of surprising additions to this list, but it makes sense. Even Paladin is doing very well, and somehow the Glass Knight is in enough even Paladin lists that it makes the cut. It makes the list. Top 10 legendaries by win rate includes the Glass Knight. I never would have predicted it. Number 9, we have Alkir the Windlord. Even Shaman includes Alkir, and Alkir certainly fits his role in that end game burst win condition. He pulls through, gives you even more damage than you need if you have, Flame Tongue Totems, if you have Rock Biters, if you have any other sort of attack buffs, any sort of hand buffs. There are a lot of things that can happen, and Alkir welcomes all of it. 8th is Hound Master Sha. So Hound Master Sha is a fairly recent addition to Hunters. It's just an overall extremely powerful card, but it is a card that is basically in every single Deathrattle Hunter because, as it turns out, the best way to activate your Deathrattles is to attack with those minions immediately, and the best way to do that is to trade, and if you're trading and attacking immediately, Rush is all you need, and that's all Hound Master Sha does, and we know Hunters are notably powerful right now. The metagame is still a little bit up in the air because we just had some major balance patches, and you can see a few videos before this one if you want the details of that. But still, Hunters seem like they're not going anywhere from the very top. So Hound Master Sha's definitely up there. And speaking of Hunters, we have a lot more Hunter legendaries for you guys. Catherina Winter Wisp takes 6th position. She's once again included in Deathrattle Hunter, also included in Big Hunter. Typically, those two are bundled up in many different forms of Deathrattle Hunter. The Deathrattle Hunter theme is kind of a little bit flexible right now. I can't say there's any one refined list that has taken hold of the meta, but Catherina seems to fit in most of those lists, probably even all of them, I would think, to a point where it's just you play Catherina, you win. Catherina, unlike a lot of the other legendaries on this deck win rate list is actually incredibly high on the played win rate list, to show that Catherina not only is part of one of the very best decks in the game, but it in fact carries one of the very best decks in the game. Number 6, King Crush. That's right, boys. King Crush does pretty powerful attack and has notable synergy with Catherina's, with Deathrattles, with Cubes, with all the good stuff, with Big Hunter. Kind of part of the same package, and Hunters like doing their thing, and Hunters love to go face. So they go face through King Crush all the time, and it's just like the face of choice in a way. Top 5, kick it off, 5th position, we have Deathstalker Rexxar. This card is just about in every single Hunter list except for the aggressive/tempo Hunters that I featured in video the other day with the free-to-play Hunter. That's about the only Hunter that does not include the Hunter hero cards. Deathstalker Rexxar is in basically every single other deck, and basically shows you just how well Hunters are doing from the average deck win rate of this card alone. Yes, there are some Hunter versions, maybe Secret Hunter, maybe Spell Hunter does a little bit better than like Deathrattle Hunter, because we just covered the Deathrattle Hunter cards. But nonetheless, Hunter is up there, and this card's position on the deck win rate legendary list basically proves it. Number 4 is an unlikely candidate, but I assure you it has earned its position. Fireplume's Heart. Wow, Warrior Quest. Yep. It turns out Quest Warrior is a remarkably strong deck, and well, there's a certain card that you need for Quest Warrior to work, and it is, yes, you guessed it, the Warrior Quest, which the deck is named after and completely built around. How about that? Yeah. So the idea is Quest Warrior has been very strong since it's, basically brought into the meta years ago even. It's just the main problem has been Paladins, notably odd Paladins. Being able to, just 8 damage, nuke everything on the board constantly every turn. Well, it doesn't work so well when your opponent is playing 2/1/1s with their hero power every single turn. Now with odd Paladins, probably exiting the meta altogether. We'll see about that in the next few days. At least the very, very early situation seems to be that Quest Warrior is thriving, which indicates that odd Paladin has basically left us. Number 3, Subject 9. Secret Hunter is doing pretty well, and Subject 9 is in just about every single Secret Hunter out there. It does a great job of putting out that presence. It does a great job of not only giving you card advantage by drawing secrets, but siphoning your deck of cards that are not desirable in top deck situations. It has very much the mysterious challenger effect of Secret Paladins from many years back. It's not just the fact that you're getting card advantage and all that. It's the fact that if you play Subject 9, the cards that are left in your deck are typically ones you actually want to draw in your one draw at a time in the late game, which is going to be coming after turn 5, which is the earliest that you can play this card. So Subject 9 certainly makes the list. Number 2, you might think this card would be number 1, but no, it is Zildjian. Zildjian is number 2. How about that? There's probably some weaker Hunter decks that are choosing to include Zildjian, kind of weighing this guy down. Zildjian is the master of Rastakhan, the king of Rastakhan. I've said it a few times. Number 1 on most of the crafting guides, you'll see. It's just an amazingly powerful card. Hunter's doing very well, and Zildjian is certainly doing his part to push those Hunter win rates where you might expect them to be. Zildjian's presence is just incredible. I actually try to make some video highlights on Zildjian, but it's really hard to do that because almost every single time where you play Zildjian, your opponent either instantly dies or instantly concedes. So it's a really difficult card to properly highlight, as it turns out, but I'm pretty sure you don't need to take my word for it. If you've played Hearthstone lately, you know the true power level of this card, and you know how deserving he is to be near or at the top of any kind of ranked list of cards right now. However, he didn't quite make number 1. Number 1 legendary by deck win rate is Rastakhan. Wow, I wouldn't have expected that. But yes, it turns out Spell Hunter is actually the very best hunter overall across all the ranks, and Rastakhan is only in that hunter deck, so it's not weighed down, by people playing their trash versions of Quest Hunters and all that kind of stuff. It seems that Spell Hunter is just pure goodness right now, and Rastakhan is one of the very key pieces. With that in mind, this is not a crafting guide, and I certainly wouldn't recommend, if you are a frugal Hearthstone player, that you craft a card that will be exiting the standard format in like 2 to 4 months when the next expansion is released and the standard format has its annual rotation. For now, that's the list. Hope I've sparked some interesting thoughts in your minds, and I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope you check out the next one.